Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, I had just talked to Melissa, but she's not here yet. So I'm just gonna say hello to you guys. We'll wait for her. She's coming, Jane, and I just spoke to her. I hope everything's okay. We'll just chat for a second. So, how are you guys? Happy Saturday. It's the full moon. Hey, Chief. Hey, Justin. Hey, Boho Hobo. Hey, Jen. Hey, Callie, Lisa. Hey, Jane. Adrian, neat. Good to see you. Hey, Gidget. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Pika. I saw that streak to the like button. Thank you. Hey, Natasha. Excuse me, neat noodle. Here it is. Streak to the like button, y'all. Please and thank you. Hey, Hippie Chick. Anybody I missed? Thank you guys for being here. Hey, NWP. Hey, Fragile Like a Bomb. So, we are continuing tonight with our Casey Anthony trial coverage and what happened. Hey, Bendy. Hey, Kelly. What happened during the trial? Going back and learning the actual facts. And yeah, I'm not familiar with it. Melissa's been somewhat familiar. And today we're going to listen to Roy House. So, he's another person that lived in this, like another roommate of the boyfriend. I found a really cool article I wanted to show you guys that mentions him. The judge talks to a lot of people 10 years later, I'm sorry. And I don't want to read it all because there are people that we haven't seen yet, but let's just take a look at it. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Okay. CNN's trying to get me to do all this stuff. No thanks. I'm done. All right. Here we go. So, a look back at the Casey Anthony story. So, this was an article that came out in 2018. So, it was actually only 7 years after the trial and 10 years after Kaylee went missing. Hey, Tony. 1 second, you guys. Just want to send Melissa a message on the thing. Literally 5 minutes before we started, I was like, I'm going to be a second late. I'm eating. And she said, me too. It's okay. No rush. And I know she's going live right after this. I'm sure everything's fine. Probably a technical issue, which when you're doing live streams, that kind of thing happens. But just 1 second. Let me just. Okay. Let's just take a look at this article while we wait on her. Hey, Aries. So we're not going to look through all the parts, but okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. So it goes into, and we're not going to read all of that, like about the trial, where she was found, when she went missing, what Casey said, all that stuff. And then it goes back to certain people. It says the case involved many other players. 10 years later, we spoke to some of those who were involved to get their thoughts on how it played out and their perspective on why it struck a chord with the public. Here's what they had to say. So first is the judge, and I've been loving him. He's just, aw, I'm so sorry, Aries. Look, I don't mean to stop like mid-sentence or mid-thought, but I didn't fully read that, and then I saw the other people talking to you, and it clicked for me, and I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I'm glad that you're here. So, back to this. The judge, Belvin Perry, former chief judge in Florida's 9th Judicial Circuit, he's been pretty interesting. I mean, he's cracked me up a time or two. He's definitely got some sass, some spunk, some personality. So I do want to show you guys what he had to say, but I want to wait for Melissa. So let's just go through a little bit. Then we have the medical examiner, which, remember, this woman had her own show. I didn't realize that she was the one who did the autopsy until Melissa told me, Dr. G. So then we have her, and I'm definitely not going to read that. We're going to wait until we get to her part. The detective, John Allen, he says she never seemed to have any remorse. The defense, this guy, remember the guy that she was sitting by, Cheney Mason, which we may read that while we wait on Melissa. This guy, this is who we're going to hear from today. Roy Clint House, roommate of Anthony's ex-boyfriend, Tony Lazzaro. Which 10 years later, he looks pretty much exactly the same. There's Miss Melissa. Hello.
Hello.
What you up to? I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was sitting and you're like, well, we wait for Melissa. I'm like, I'm here.
I was like texting Wolfie, please check on Melissa because I just talked to you, and then I didn't. I was like, oh no.
What is this? What is an article?
I cannot wait to show you this. So I wasn't reading it because I wanted to wait for you. So this is an article that came out 10 years later, and they go back and they talk to other players in the case, and some we can wait to look at, like Dr. G, the medical examiner and stuff. But I wanted to show you Judge Belvin Perry's, the friend we're going to hear, and this defense guy, just a little bit of what they said. Is that okay?
Yeah, really please do. Yeah.
Okay, so the judge says, I thought the state had proved its case. So this is a little like glimpse into the future, but into the past for us, for where we're at. But he says, I thought while they may have had some flaws in their case, that there was a high probability that Casey would be found guilty of some form of homicide. And that did not occur. A number of jurors said the reason they came back with not guilty was because the state could not prove how she died. The defense threw out a lot of theories. They threw out that she drowned. They tried to build on the inference that the gate was open and that the ladder was down and that she was known to go out of the door and go up to the pool because she liked water. I mean, there was no evidence that that happened. Those were inferences, but they were logical inferences that they were permitted based upon those slim factors to argue. Justice is always served in a case where the facts are litigated before a jury. The jury looks at the law through their lens and render a decision. People may not agree, but when a case goes through the process that we have all agreed to live by, then justice is served. He said, here we are 10 years away from her death, and people still think about it. There's one question that's on everyone's mind. What really happened? Until that question is answered, there will always be someone searching and someone wondering what that answer is. Like, look at us now, but.
Right. Well, and that's so super interesting because, and I know we're going to talk about it as we near that part, but like, it shows how there's also a lot of jurors who didn't really understand how, even though they got jury instructions, how exactly it works.
I know. Yeah. And we'll, of course, we talked about, and we're going to listen to what some of the jurors had to say and stuff when we get to the end, which I've seen some, but I know there's a lot more than even what I've seen. I can't wait to see that. But he thought they proved their case and thought that was interesting. So then we have Dr. G, and I was telling them, when you told me, like, it never clicked for me that this is who did Kaylee's autopsy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she had that show. Yes. And yeah, so, and we can read that after. We don't want to skip ahead or anything. The detective, which we haven't heard from him yet, have we? This is not
yet. After the roommates, I know that the detectives start coming up. And that's why I said I'm really excited to see the actual evidence to separate, hey, what do I remember or think I remember from when I was so much younger watching this? And I wasn't part of any true crime community when I first watched this. You know, I was just me watching it very young. And so now, educated more on the process and how it works, I'm so excited to see, okay, prosecution state against her regarding like actual evidence. But it goes to show you, if you could put on a good story and show, and it sucks that prosecution clearly tried to stick to the facts and not state things that they don't know for certain. But defense, all they did was give you a possibility, right? With no facts to back it up. And they went with that.
I know. It's pretty crazy, actually. But yeah, it's very interesting. So check this one out. This is that guy that we've, he's been sitting there. His name is Cheney Mason. Is this the one that wrote that book that we were talking about like before and people were talking about?
I'm not certain.
Okay, so look what he says. This is pretty interesting. When I read this, I was eating just now reading this. And I think like my jaw dropped and my food almost came out of my mouth because I was like, whoa, I cannot believe. It's just kind of crazy to hear their opinions, and I couldn't wait to show you. So he says, I can envision exactly what she looked like at first. She did not look like any kind of monster. She looked like a scared little young girl, a young woman, I should say, but at my age, she's a girl. Casey was tiny. Her wrists were about as small as my two fingers. She was very polite and very respectful. There wasn't anything smart alecky about her, no assumptions or anything. I, of course, did not absolutely know, but my intuitive feelings were that she was not guilty of doing it. My belief is that Casey's primary focus of intelligence shut down in disbelief that her child was missing or gone and just fabricated whatever. If you saw the photographs, videos, history of Casey and Kaylee, you wouldn't find a more attentive, closer, loving relationship than that. So, how do you take that loving relationship and this great motherly care and all of a sudden change that into some monstrous killing? All I know is that Casey did not deserve to face the death penalty in that case, and I was not going to let her get it if I could stop it. I do not believe she was guilty of killing that child. Don't like him saying it that way, that child. But he goes on to say, this is the part I was like, wow. He says, I'm never going to believe that. In fact, she could come up and say, Cheney, it's time for me to confess, and I would want to know who put her up to it. I wouldn't believe it. I don't think it's true.
What?
Yeah.
And who is this?
He works on the defense. He said,
Oh,
like,
oh, is that the one she lived with?
I think so. Let me see if the chat knows for sure. But that's what I was thinking. But I'm
Oh,
not.
it was Fancy Pants. Okay. He's the one that Casey was eating soup with. No way.
Yeah. He would believe someone put her up to it if she confessed. I'm like, wow. That's like, she has them completely snowed, you know?
Completely wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah. Pika, I agree with you. If this happened in today's time, she would have been found guilty. Well, look at Megan
Well,
and Leilani.
yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to believe that, Pika, but then I go and I'm looking at Idaho, right? The Koberger case. And granted, they're two different cases, but I'm watching people who are extremely confirmation biased. And again, I know it's apples to oranges, but what I'm saying is you would think something like that would never happen today, yet I fear going into that trial that wow, black and white murder weapon evidence balaclava right in front of our damn faces, and people are he is set up, there's no way, blaming straight innocent people. And so it makes me pause and be like, okay, maybe this specific case, but do I think we've really come far as humanity in the time that we are? No, not at all.
Yeah, you're so freaking right about that. It is. I was just telling Melissa earlier, sometimes I can hardly even read comments or watch videos or have the discussion because I get so frustrated with that case because it doesn't people are just so already they've made up their minds before even hearing the evidence. Like, hello, you don't have the evidence yet. You'll see things like they don't have this, they don't have that. We haven't had a trial. It's so frustrating. So you're right, actually. But if we think about Megan and Leilani, they're so similar with not having like any clear answer as to what happened, you know? Um,
But you know what? Pika is right because social media absolutely plays a huge role in Idaho, Koberger's case. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I know we can't compare these two because they really do not have similarities in that sense. But, like, do I feel like this, like someone would be able to get away with it today? Yes. I don't know Casey specifically, but at the same time, what I've learned is being in the true crime community, there's a lot of people who are in this true crime community, so to speak, on social media that still aren't even familiar with court processes because they don't follow it out all the way to the conclusion. They just do it when it's all hype and woo. Think about Quentin Simon, right? And how many people were standing outside screaming that they would not stop until they got justice, and zero covered Leilani's trial. And that it was so, I know me and Ali spoke about it so much, how frustrating and disgusting it was. Like, hey, here comes his birthday, or here's his anniversary, or here's trial. Are any of them going to cover it? None. And so
Yeah.
I don't even remember where I was going with it, but like social media absolutely plays a big role in these cases. Oh, and a lot of them aren't familiar with the court process and what is allowed, what isn't allowed, what juries get to see, what juries don't get to see, what defense is allowed to do, what prosecution's allowed to do, what witnesses are allowed to do. A lot of people think just because defense may state something like, "Hey, Kaylee drowned," right? They can't lie. The defense can't lie. No, 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 no. Like there's rules, there's things that you're allowed to do, there's things you're not allowed to do. And sometimes it concerns me when I hear people speaking because it's clear, and not in a mean way, but you're clearly not educated on the process. I'm still not fully educated. I'm still learning things along the way, but it's
Mhm.
concerning because if you look at people who are even in the true crime community who don't know the process, what about an average juror? How are we to expect them to fully understand? And I feel like the jury this time clearly did not fully understand what was
Yep.
allowed, what wasn't allowed, and what their job and task was to do.
Yeah, and even he said, the judge, "I thought she'd get some form of homicide," but you're right, and we'll hear from them later, and you guys will, like, understand more of their perspective, and I will too. I've only seen one major thing about it, but yeah, even for me, like, redoing the Watts case, I've covered or followed and covered that so closely, on Watts Island, and watched everything, everyone's lives, everyone's videos, and many interviews and interrogations that can't be manipulated. However, it wasn't until watching Letitia's trial and seeing the difference of what social media's narrative was and how they would, like, manipulate the evidence versus the black and white evidence. I mean, now I need to know cases for myself. I need to dig through the files myself, see the trial, not just what social media has to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
no, like sometimes I start to type out a comment and then I'm like, may as well just say it at this point instead of typing it all out. But I was just saying to
That too.
Nancy, absolutely, I don't disagree. I'm a tinfoil hat wearer too. So I'm aware that it's possible, absolutely, and it happens. I just don't think in this case that's what's going on, meaning
Yeah.
Koberger's case.
Yes, I totally agree. But with the Watts case, like, I knew everything on social media, but I never went page by page through that discovery to see things in black and white. Now I would see clips of it, or you know what I mean, like some of it, but yeah. So it's just, I don't know. You learn as you go. You learn as you watch cases from the beginning to the end. You kind of see Letitia's is the biggest, like, learning example, because you see Gannon's dad being blamed. You see neighbors coming out, seeing him, with a gun, thinking he moved Gannon, all these things.
Hmm. I
At one,
fell for that one too. I fell for that one.
yeah, well, a lot of people do, and then it wasn't until we see at trial, they had it there, all of their movements
Yeah, they
the
had it
whole
all.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Wolfie. No, not
Well, she
now.
did, but
Thank you.
I was late. So
Yeah, Melissa was late and I was worried.
I got
And
here before you. So technically,
then I just saw your comment in the chat. I'm here, LOL, sitting back.
I'm here.
I did not say that. I'm sorry. I was like getting a little panicky.
No, you're fine.
Okay, let me see. So here is who we're about to watch. This
Yes.
friend. It's quick, and I don't think reading this will spoil it. Well, I haven't seen it, but I think that it's pretty, like, it's not going to spoil anything for us. So let me show you what Roy House had to say. So he said, towards the end of October 2007, I moved in with Tony. In the spring of '08, he ended up meeting Casey online. She was just that typical 22-year-old girl. She was bubbly, smart, fun, and we had a good time being around her. It wasn't really that long after Casey came around that we met Kaylee. From what I saw with my own two eyes, is that she was a great mother. I never saw her be physically violent towards Kaylee. I saw what I thought was love between a mother and a daughter. There became a time where we did start asking where Kaylee was. She was coming over on such a regular basis that it did seem kind of odd that we weren't seeing Kaylee anymore. And Casey just kind of laughed and shrugged it off and said, "Oh, she's with my mom," or "She's with the nanny." But at the time, it just didn't seem like it was anything like a red flag or anything like that. during the time that we think Kaylee went missing, I did not notice any kind of demeanor change. I've seen in several of those photos with Casey as she's out at Fusion at the time, we had absolutely no idea what was going on. My girlfriend at the time called me and said, "You need to check the news. Kaylee is missing." I was shocked. All of us had thought that she worked at Universal. All of us thought she was going back to school. Everything Casey had said to us was a complete lie. I don't think there is anything that the world or the media got wrong about Casey, but I do believe the justice system got it wrong. So this friend is not on the innocent train. So I thought that was very interesting.
Wow. Okay. Good. Honestly, I'm glad because I was shocked to hear the other two. Well, at least the other one was really.
Yeah. Well, and after we can come back to this article, like after we hear from the detective and Dr. G, and kind of see what they think. But I didn't want to skip like too far ahead on all of this testimony. But you know what I mean?
I burnt my cookies.
Did you bake cookies?
Yeah, but I burnt them.
Oh, I like burnt cookies, but
I fucking hate burnt cookies, but it is what it is.
But okay, so are you ready? Like I said, we'll come back to Dr. G and the article and the detective after we hear from them. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
You? Okay. All right. So here we go. Rambo.
Okay.
Roy House.
Both, just a second. Go ahead.
Roy House, Royhouse. I go by Clint, Clint.
Oh, both sides, a rule of procedure has been invoked. Both sides will be responsible for advising their witnesses as to the rule. And the rule is expanded to include being able to look at electronic devices and listen to folks' testimony. So make sure you incorporate those things too.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
George, you may continue.
Thank you, Judge.
Not really.
Good morning, sir.
That's about
You are Clint House.
Yes,
Probably
sir.
something
Mr.
bad
House, how
happened.
old are you?
25.
Sorry. Couldn't get it to stop. Something that happened.
I'm not sure. Did he say during testimony something about devices?
He did say during testimony something about devices, but I'm guessing there must have been a sidebar or something outside of the presence of the jury, and we're catching the end of it. So, Tony made cookies today. Okay.
I'm good, Wolfie.
Thank you, Wolfie. Very good.
I did a set it and forget it with the cookies. Like when I ran here, I set it, but it really depends on your oven. Like it'll say like 12 to 17 minutes. You fucking guess. And so I put it on 13 minutes thinking the lower end because it'll automatically shut off. And they're burnt, Allie.
Dang, I'm surprised by that because usually, the lower end you can let it turn off and.
Yeah. So just know I did that for you guys.
Thank you. Okay.
Currently live in Florida.
Yes, I do.
Where do you live in Florida?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Say Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yes, sir.
Was there a time that you lived in Orlando?
Yes, sir.
When did you live in Orlando?
From 2007 to 2009.
Why were you in Orlando?
Was going to school at Full Sail.
We've heard a little bit about Full Sail already, but can you tell the jury what you were studying there?
I was there for recording arts, learning how to engineer and produce music.
Oh, they're all in the bands.
How
Bye
long?
bye.
All in all, how long were you at Full Sail?
About 10 months.
Did you achieve a degree?
No, I did not.
Are you employed now, sir?
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
Work for my parents' company, First Coast Kim Dry in Jacksonville.
What kind of company is that?
It's a carpet cleaning company.
Allie.
Yeah.
When you were
Okay. And no hate. Trust me, I'm not hating. I'm just saying every single of the roommates so far, they each had their MacBook, okay, Pro. They each were enrolled in this great school, and each one of them are asked specifically what their programs were, and it's a great program. And every single one of them, they went and did not utilize it. He's working now for his family's carpet cleaning company. The other one totally dropped out and went for a band that he does the damn percussions in that went nowhere. I don't remember what Cameron did, but none of them utilized their fancy degrees. And they all, yeah, it's just so interesting to me. Interesting.
That's freaking wild. It kind of shows you, like, it gets into the debate of, is college a scam? There are so many people I know that have master's degrees, and I am literally thinking of one of you guys, a friend of mine right now that's in the chat, who does something else to make money. Like, and so many people do that. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Wolfie, you have to call to snap me out of it. Well, I'm glad we were not on the do not disturb, but okay.
Attending Full Sail, where did you live?
I lived with Tony and Cam
Is that at the Sutton Place
at
apartment?
the Sutton Place apartment. Yes, sir.
Birthday Lovers one.
From what time periods did you live there in 2008?
That's true, you guys.
I was only there for a few months. I moved in at the end of April and was out at the end of June
Of 2008.
of 2008. Yes, sir.
During that time period, where did you sleep?
Sometimes on the couch, sometimes on the floor. We were all in a transition period waiting for Tony's lease to run out because me, Nate, and Tony were going to get a place together.
What'd you say?
He slept on the couch too with Nate.
But they did make a couple people in the chat made a point. They didn't finish, so maybe that's part of it. But still, they were on this path, and it's kind of interesting how you end up cleaning carpets or whatever.
The fact that they all didn't, and the only thing I could, what's the likelihood of that? But I also can question, hey, did any of this play a role? They were very young. Was it that impactful? But then I think, well, if the first two didn't think she was guilty, I can imagine. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it did play a role. I don't know.
Can you imagine, just think about it for yourself for a second and put yourself back to where you were at 20 years old or whatever, around that age. And imagine one of your friends' babies has a baby, number one, because none, and a lot of the others didn't. Because some people have kids young. That's not abnormal. But in this friend group, they were all in college. So you have a friend with a child that not only goes missing, police are searching your house. You have to testify. It would be pretty, I don't know if I want to say traumatizing, but you know what I mean? Disturbing.
I don't know about that, Sarah Bell. And that I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember what Cameron said. He was the first one. I just remember Nathan, the last one, Kai Vai and Jade, and then him. I don't remember what Cameron said.
One of them was a club promoter, but I don't know if it was at the time.
I thought at the time he was a club promoter.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Oh, Justin, thank you for being a member for 2 months.
Thanks, Justin.
It's a great duo.
We love Justin. Uh-oh, did you cut out?
Yep.
All right. You're back.
So I swear you guys have have an idea why, and it's figured out. I didn't have time to test the internet next door, and I didn't want to chance it.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Deco Painter.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her name. Oh, I'm so sorry. I cut you off, but I didn't think I cut you off because you must have went out. I swear when I started speaking, it was silent.
No, I did go out again. So it's
How do you know?
Because I can see it on my end, on the internet, on the StreamYard thing where it shows your internet.
Yeah. You guys could back me up. I didn't interrupt her. It was silent.
It's okay. Well, what were you saying? Because I didn't hear it.
I was saying, hey, Deco Painter and T. I haven't seen that name in so long.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you, Deco. And then you're right, Steph. I agree. It would be disrupting. I'm so mad over this internet. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you growled. I'm so mad.
I'm so mad. It's really frustrating because when you've tried 3-4 different internets,
Yeah.
one starts working. I swear, I think it's the trees like getting their leaves back in its satellite, and there's got to be a way to fix it. But
Is it going to
I'll
be an
figure
M.
it
Night Shyamalan movie?
out. I don't know what that is.
What?
No,
M. Night Shyamalan? Allie.
it
All
sounds
right.
like gibberish.
That's a
Shyamalan.
director. The Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah, I know
Like
that.
all like The Village, all of the mind bending thrill, like M. Night Shyamalan. And you said that it was The Trees. I swear it's The Trees, and that's one of his movies. It was The Trees, but that joke clearly didn't land if you don't know who M. Night Shyamalan is. No, it's okay. I think I'm more just blown away. You don't know who it is.
Yeah, no, but I do know those movies. So yeah, I just didn't know him
Great
by
movies.
name.
Yeah,
For
Trap with
Shiggles,
Josh Hartnett. Hmm.
Josh Hartnett. Oh, I haven't seen him in a long time, but he
Oh,
used to
he's back, baby. He's back. And he didn't. I don't know how he didn't age, but like he didn't age.
Wow. I'll have
Hmm.
to check that out.
You got
For
to check it
Shiggles says it's because I'm in the holler. And then
out.
Natasha, I love that. She said, that's how my littlest nugget says mad.
Hmm.
Well, okay. Oh, thank you for rejoining, Jen. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Okay, there you go.
During May, June, and July of 2008, you were attending Full Sail, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall during that time period what hours that you were in school?
It ranged. There were some times that I'd be in school at 1 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the morning. There was times that I'd get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and be there at 5 until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The hours range just based on different classes.
There is 2 a.m. classes.
During the time period of May, June of 2008, did you meet a
I don't know. I didn't even fully like digest or even like absorb what he said because I was looking
Said
at Sunshine.
it's the same question he asked all of the roommates, like, what time did you do your classes? And he said it could be anywhere from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or 1 p.m., a.m., and then 1 p.m. or to 5 p.m. Like just 1 to 4 a.m. or maybe 1 to 5 p.m. It ranged, but I can understand studying. But what classes are 1 to 4 or 5 a.m.?
Yeah, that's some late night classes.
Is that even a thing?
I don't know. Night classes are a thing, but I don't know about that kind of night classes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Sunshine Mafia, thank you for being a member for 15 months, and I'm glad you got to be here too. And I love your picture. Yeah, I love being able to see your guys' faces like when it's big like that.
Yes.
Aw.
a woman by the name of Casey Anthony?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall when you first met her?
Yes, me and Tony met her at a party
Huh.
that one of our friends was throwing.
Do you
Imagine.
remember the friend's name?
No, I do not.
Do you know whether or not that was the first time that your roommate Tony actually met Casey Anthony?
Yes, it is.
So you met her the same day?
The same night, yes, sir.
What do you recall about meeting Ms. Anthony on that date?
She seemed like a fun party girl, somebody that would probably get along well with our group of friends.
Oh my God. It's so sad. And don't get me wrong. I don't think that, because there are some cases where I see, like for instance with Megan Boswell, she was doing whatever, maybe not partying, wasn't very, I don't think the best mom. Leilani, we know she was partying and the people around her weren't the best. With Kaylee, I think she was well taken care of because of her grandparents and stuff, but how in the hell do you have a child that age and you're a fun party girl? You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Her whole lifestyle should be completely different than what they're depicting. It makes me realize like how young and naive they are. Like you said, she probably was one of the only friends that had a kid at that point. Maybe not, but it seems like, like when she brought Kaylee around, it was like the little girl, like they weren't there through Casey's pregnancy though. So she would have come in already born and already like about 2 years old.
Yeah. But how are you a fun party? Yeah, I definitely wasn't a fun party girl when I had toddlers.
No.
It's so sad. But then, like, thank God she had her grandparents and stuff, because we've seen, again, with Leilani, who was also being this fun party girl who was dating someone, but also having lots of fun time on her own and partying quite a lot. And there wasn't anybody there to, like, take care of Quentin like that. Well, I mean, I'm not saying Danny didn't take care of him or Billy or whatever, but you know what I mean. They were also partying too. So I don't know. It's just sad. All right. It's hard not to compare them, like, all as you talk about it.
At that first meeting, were you aware that she had a child?
Yes, I was.
How did you become aware of that?
From Tony, he had said that he was talking to a girl named Casey, but she had a kid.
Do you have any specific recollection of the defendant speaking about Kaylee on that first meeting?
Not on that first meeting, no, sir.
Did you ever meet Kaylee Anthony?
Yes, I did.
Where did you first meet Kaylee Anthony?
At the Sutton Place Apartments.
How many times in all do you think that you've seen Kaylee Anthony?
4 or 5 times.
And just one more thing. In the article, he does say, he met her really pretty quickly after meeting Casey. This is something I don't know that, like, when you're a young mom, especially, you would think about. But, I'm not for having little kids around any strange people like that. You know what I mean? I just don't like that.
Think about the case I just was talking to you about earlier, like,
Yes.
you really don't know.
Yeah. And this is like the most precious thing in your world. You got to treat it that way and not let just anybody, hear it or around it.
Mm-hmm.
Did Kaylee Anthony ever spend the night over at your apartment with Tony and your other roommates?
No, she never actually stayed over.
Not that they would have hurt her or something.
Did Anthony started staying at your apartment more or less full time?
Yes, there was.
And do you recall generally when that was?
Right around the beginning of June into the middle of June is when she started being over there every single day and spending most of her nights over there.
Did you mind that she did that?
No, not at all.
Was this a big apartment to your mind?
No, it wasn't a very big apartment at all. We were all kind of crammed in there.
Overall.
Bushit, I do remember that from the interrogation. Remember, Melissa? She said the nanny lived at this apartment close to Tony's apartment.
Yes. And she had a friend who had once lived at that apartment complex.
Yeah. What was he objecting for? I can't hear him when he
I
talks.
know, just like the judge said, if you want to turn off your mics, that's fine. But you need to turn that shit back on when it's time to make objections.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Can't hear
sure what the objection was. Probably relevance.
him. Okay.
Previous objection will be noted.
Now, while she was
On internet.
staying with you and your roommates, did Casey Anthony ever tell you anything about her employment?
Yes, she told us that she worked at Universal Studios.
Did you ever see any ID cards or anything that would reflect that she actually did work there?
Never saw any credentials.
Did she ever tell you about her work?
No,
Did you ever complain about work?
no.
Did you ever
Yeah, that-
see her getting ready to go to work?
I would see her appear like she was getting ready to leave the apartment, and she would say that she was going to work. So, yes.
Then would you subsequently see her later on that evening?
She'd come back.
Okay. But when she came back, did she tell you about her day at work?
She was pretty silent about it. She didn't really, like I said, she didn't really talk about her work all that much.
Now, you had testified that when you first met Casey Anthony, you had seen Kaylee 2, 3, or 4 times, somewhere around there. correct?
Yes.
When she started staying with you full-time, did you ever see Kaylee Anthony?
No, that was when she started staying over at the apartment on a regular basis was when we stopped seeing Kaylee.
Yep.
Did you ever ask her where Kaylee was?
Yes, we did.
Not we, you. Did you
Yes.
ever ask her?
Yes, I did.
All right. What did she tell you?
She said that she was with the nanny.
Did the nanny have a name?
She never really said the name. She never said the name to us. She just referred to her as the nanny.
Did she indicate that the nanny was local?
Yes.
Did she ever indicate to you that Kaylee was anywhere other than Orlando?
No.
Did it ever seem odd to you that the child was always with the nanny?
Calls for speculation.
I'm not asking him to speculate. I'm asking him.
Overruled.
Thank you, Judge Perry.
Because that he's asking what his opinion is. He's not asking him to speculate, guys.
Yeah.
Do you find it odd?
Yeah, exactly. Was it odd to you that she was always at the nanny?
Right.
Not was she always at the nanny? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Do you believe she was always at the nanny? That would be speculating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Did you ever find it odd that Kaylee was never over at the apartment?
Same objection, Judge. He's asking for his opinion.
Sustain us to that question.
Did you ever question
Wait.
the defendant about
I think only experts see. This is why with time of like watching stuff and you learn more and then I don't know,
Yeah.
things change so much. I think only
Only
experts
experts can give their opinion, but
Yeah.
to say, did you find it odd? I didn't believe that would fall under like that type of opinion versus did you feel it's all about like his experience, you know? So I don't know. That is interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of only a yes or no answer, so you would expect it to be. I think it would have been allowed had they not
Right.
pushed it, but
Right. Like maybe if he rephrases it to like, was at any point, like, I don't know. See, that's interesting.
yeah, it is. Like I said again, not to be repetitive, but it blows my mind how like just over time you learn so much. And I mean, how irresponsible. Like I got on here and said just whatever when I started talking about true crime, and I just didn't see it for what it like. I don't know. I've come full circle and I can like see all the seriousness. Of course I knew it before, but in a different way now, and knowing to wait and see, it's wild, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, MS girl.
where Kaylee was?
We asked her, or I asked her, where, I haven't seen Kaylee in a while, where is she? And like I said, she said she was with the nanny.
When she told you that, was there ever any concern
No.
in her voice when she told you that?
No.
Did she ever appear worried about where Kaylee was?
No.
Did she?
Wait, do you see the clear difference? I don't want to pause too much. We're only 8 minutes in. I'm sorry. But between him and the first guy who,
Yep.
like, it's
Cameron.
crazy. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he seems like he's kind of pissed.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, listen, I feel like Cameron, for whatever reason, just my opinion of him, easily manipulated, like fell for the show. It seems like this guy less more. So it doesn't matter how much you razzle dazzle. The point is that Kaylee was gone. You're claiming you even knew Kaylee was dead. Did she seem concerned or no? The answer is no. And the answer was still no for Cameron, but he's just perceiving it differently, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, he totally is. Kimberly, you didn't miss anything, really. We went through an article, though, that kind of tells a little more about this guy who's talking. I'll drop it in the chat right now if you want to check it out so you don't have to rewind.
Did she ever seem sad that she did not see her?
Her demeanor never changed. She was the same person.
Ooh.
When you say that, was her demeanor any different during this time period when Kaylee was not around than when you first met the defendant with Kaylee?
No.
Ooh.
Did you also have a laptop?
Yes, I did.
And that was part of the full sale enrollment, I guess?
Yeah, when we enrolled, it was wrapped up into our tuition, so we basically did pay for it, but yes, I did have a laptop.
Did you ever see the defendant with a laptop?
Yes, I did.
What type of laptop did she have?
I believe it was an HP, regular base model Windows computer.
Did you ever use her computer?
No, sir.
Did she, to your knowledge, ever use yours?
No, not to my knowledge.
Did you ever see her, the defendant, use any computer other than her own?
No.
Okay, this is what that was about at the beginning, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wonder where we're going with this. Okay, let's see.
While she was staying with you, were you ever present while she spoke on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. When she spoke on the phone, do you know to whom she was speaking?
She would leave the apartment to take phone calls. She would walk outside. She would walk out onto the porch or walk out to the front door. And every time it was either she was on the phone with the nanny or she was on the phone with her mom.
Is that what she told you when she came back?
Yes.
When she came back after these phone calls, did you ever notice any change in demeanor on the part of Casey Anthony?
No, sir.
Did she ever appear worried
No, sir.
or nervous
No, sir.
or scared?
No, sir.
Would it be fair to say that you saw Casey Anthony on a regular basis during this time?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say you saw her on a daily basis during this time?
Yes.
Other than hanging out within the apartment, did you ever hang out outside of the apartment?
Yes.
Where do you recall going with her and other people?
Overrule at this point.
Every Friday night, we had our own promotional night at Club Fusion. Me, Tony, we're business partners. We were the DJs, and she would come every Friday night, and she was trying to help us bring people out. And so yes, every Friday night we were at Fusion, and then there was a few times that we went out to regular or random bars in Orlando, around the UCF area or the downtown area.
When you say that the defendant helped bring people out, what do you mean?
She was a promoter. She would, because she was Tony's girlfriend, she would help talk to her friends, tell her friends to come to the club, because the more people that came out, obviously.
She was a promoter?
Oh, well, news to us.
Yeah.
No, she was
wow.
Tony's girlfriend. That's what she was.
Right, and he was a promoter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like as a job, profession.
Yeah,
What one
I
of the other
think
guys? Okay, it's a little confusing, but I know they were all kind of wrapped up in that nightlife. Again, all I can think about is how fucking sad, because, excuse my language, y'all, but it just, damn, man. You have this precious little gift at home, and they don't stay little for long. It goes by like this. And every day is like you're lucky to have, and you're wasting it away. You know what I mean? You were trying, like, or maybe most of this was after, but regardless, it's just sad that was the life she was living with the little baby at home. But I do want to ask you, like, I'm surprised we didn't get into their computers, because remember when we came on, they were having that out of the jury, whatever happened that we don't know, talking about some sort of evidence on electronics. I don't remember what they said exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Did George testify she was a promoter? I don't remember that.
No, not that I know of.
To be honest though, Lady fucking T, if I don't watch something a couple times, I know I will not grasp every detail. I've learned that about myself watching trials. Like, I might need to hear something a couple times, because my brain might be digesting this part, and then the other part I don't even think about, because I'm still like, you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth?
yeah. Hey, Jordan. Okay.
Obviously, the more money we were going to make, and so that's what she would do for us.
How did she do that?
Just by telling her friends, text messaging, Facebook, MySpace, telling them to come out and come to Fusion.
Did you ever see her actually do that? sending out text messages or emails?
I never saw it saw the text messages or emails, but I did see her post stuff on her MySpace page and her Facebook page, but none of her friends ever came.
Oh, he had to add that little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
So you weren't really actually promoting and getting anyone in.
Or maybe you don't have any friends. Ouch.
Yeah.
So I think what he's saying, because Steph says, tell friends to go is not being a promoter. Well, I know for certain we've heard one of these guys was, or Tony, one of them was a promoter. And maybe she wasn't technically hired and getting paid for it, but she was doing it with them, just trying to bring more people in. So doing the job as a promoter, posting, sending messages to a bunch of people, whatever, handing out flyers. I don't know. Never been a club promoter. So, but, and maybe like that's kind of the discrepancy there. It wasn't like a legit job, but she was still promoting. I don't know. But none of her friends ever showed up. I'm going to rewind it just a few seconds. She should have showed her face in that moment. I just don't see her having a lot of girlfriends. Hell, look, Amy, she robbed.
Yep.
Saw the text messages or emails, but I did see her post stuff on her MySpace page and her Facebook page, but none of her friends ever came.
While at Fusion, you said you and Tony were business partners. This was your event, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did the defendant participate in those events?
Yes, she did.
What role did she play?
The promo girl. She was in a couple of our contests that I hosted. She was in a hot body contest. She would mingle with the crowd, with the people who were there, and pretty much.
Overall.
Did she do this these events were on Friday?
Yes, sir.
Was this every Friday in the month of June of 2008?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what a shot girl is?
Yes.
What's a shot girl?
Shot girl is a girl who walks around with a tray of pre-mixed shots and sells them to patrons inside of the club.
Now, is this something that you as a business with Tony would coordinate?
We would coordinate the girls, but we didn't pay the girls. That was based from the club.
All right. Did the defendant have anything to do with selecting shot girls?
No.
Did she ever have anything to your?
Did she pretend that she had a role and she would organize these shot girls?
Oh, I could see that. Should look at all the other lies. He is subtle in his sass gadget, and I'm here for it too. I just don't see her as being the type of girl that has friends.
No. We'll see what she did to her friend Amy.
Yeah. The clubs I used to go to, we didn't need any promotion. It was always packed in there. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's true.
But it got low, whoa,
A lot of the poppin' clubs are like that, but I don't know. I never really went to clubs except for in college. There was like this one bar I visited a few times, but I know like in some of the college towns, some of those like in like probably where they were at, or like this big college town that was near me in West Virginia, everybody was in the clubs. Nobody was in class. Like they were all partying,
Yeah.
Your knowledge to do with how the shot girls dressed?
She would give her little tidbits of I guess information for the girls, but most of the time I was the one who was telling the girls what they needed to wear.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would
You
never
say
fly
that
today.
the defendant would give tidbits. What are you talking about?
She would say, maybe the girls should wear these shorts or this skirt with this top. That was the extent of it.
While you were at home with the defendant, did you ever witness her looking for outfits for the girls to wear?
No.
Did she make suggestions to the girls in your presence while at Fusion
Yes.
about what to wear?
About what? Yes, sir.
In his presence.
At the club.
Do you know a
Like,
woman by the name of Maria Kish?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's who we're about to hear from, right?
yes, Maria's coming up on the stand
Right.
next, guys.
Yeah.
Who is she?
Maria was my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
I take it she's not now.
No, she's not now.
Okay. Did she attend any of the nights at Fusion with you?
Yes, she did.
The nights that you were at Fusion with the defendant, what can you tell the jury about her overall demeanor?
She was partying and having a good time.
Yeah, she was.
I don't believe it was.
Overall,
She was partying and having a good time.
When you say partying, are you talking about drinking?
Drinking, yes, sir.
Was she
Oh, yeah.
dancing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did she ever display any emotion to you that would indicate that she was upset about anything?
No.
Did she appear happy?
Not even a drunk cry? Like, that's surprising, you know? Because all
Not
girls.
surprising for a guilty person. Sorry.
I think Maria's gonna be really interesting. It sounds
Yeah.
like there might have been some kind of jealousy or some kind of weird.
Mhm. I think Maria would see right through that shit. Okay, and we didn't peek. Okay, we didn't know who Maria was until we just heard that right then. So
Yeah.
I think Maria ain't fooled by you ain't doing my man's laundry. Number one, they didn't ask him, is his laundry done? But
Yeah.
I think that a girl would have not fell for the manipulation and the Betty Crocker act, you know?
Oh yeah, you'd see right through it, and you can almost feel those girls that are like, you know, the liars, manipulators. Like you don't even have to see them do it. You can just almost feel what some of them how they are just by being around them once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
The times that you saw, or how would you characterize based upon what you saw, the relationship between the defendant and Tony Lazaro? I'm asking for observations, Judge.
overall at this point.
Okay, so an observations, okay.
They both seemed happy with each other. She would, come over, cook dinner for everybody, clean up the apartment, do laundry. Tony
There it is.
was happy, and so was she.
Did you, in that brief period of time, ever see the defendant and Tony fight?
No.
It was a month, guys.
During this time period that she was basically living with you, did you ever notice the defendant be sad,
No.
angry,
No.
depressed,
No.
withdrawn?
No. She was still the same.
Did she appear exactly the same during this time period when she was living with you than when you first met her with Kaylee?
Yes.
No difference.
No different.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Were you at home on July 15th when the defendant's mother came over?
No, I was not. I had moved out by then.
All right, you were out.
Oh.
After you had moved out, when did you move out?
About 2 weeks
No.
before that.
After you moved out, did you ever have any?
She was only living there for like that 31-day period while Kayla was missing.
Yeah.
So when
And
they're talking about how she was on a day-to-day, they're talking about that time period.
And even if your story was true, then surely you would show some sort of depression being like I said, even because when you get drunk and you get like something, you would think.
Right. Even if we're to believe, let's for a second take what the defense said. Defense still is saying Casey knew her daughter passed at horrible accidental drowning. Still, I would anticipate what emotions you would have when your child is gone. And then I think back to the current narrative. And the current narrative is, oh, I actually believed Kaylee was alive and my dad was able to bring her back from the dead the way Tisha claimed. Okay.
Yeah.
So it still doesn't add up no matter which way I look at it, other than you're a cold, brutal killer.
Yeah, that's so true. It just doesn't add up. And then for Shickle says, how did she act when they found the body? Well, I think that's going to be some testimony.
Yep.
We're going to get to that. And didn't they because when me and Melissa were going through it before we started, I remember there was like footage of her at the jail when they found her or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, we'll get to hear about that.
Any other contact with Casey, Anthony?
No.
Did you ever speak with her again?
Me and Tony had a falling out with each other over the Club Fusion, and she was trying to rekindle our friendship, trying to be the good girlfriend, trying to get her boyfriend's best friend back. And that was all the contact that we had.
How did she attempt to do that?
She would just text and say, hey, you should come and hang out with me and Tony. We're going, such and such. We're going out tonight. You guys should come out, squash this beef, and become friends again. And we eventually did.
Was that because of her efforts?
No.
This was
Thank you for joining.
So again, after you had moved out, and other than the text messages or emails that you've described for us, did you have any
contact that we had?
How did she attempt to do that?
She would just text and say, hey, you should come and hang out with me and Tony. We're going, such and such. We're going out tonight. You guys should come out, squash this beef, and become friends again. And we eventually did.
Was that because of her efforts?
No.
No, let me be very clear. It was not because of
Look
her.
at his face.
Oh, wow. It was.
Hell no. Sorry.
Oh my God. He's like, no, absolutely not. Let me be very clear here.
Even look at the brow and the screen where it's paused. Like, oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Kathy, thank you for joining. And Punksy, thank you for rejoining. And I hope you're doing well. And I miss you. I miss all you guys. Feel like I've barely talked to anybody in the life is busy. But yeah, I hope you're doing well.
She is looking all Handmaid's Tale freaking under his eye type of outfit.
I'm way behind on emails, just to let you guys know, but I thought about it in the shower today. Like tonight, I'm going to sit down and just go through all emails and messages and catch up with everything. I promise. I did not feel very good this week. I just had a week, and busy week too. But Melissa, speaking of how she looks today, making the thumbnail, all I could see was that lady you showed me from the Lord of the Rings, because that's the same hairstyle and ear, everything in the thumbnail picture I used.
Yep.
Now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, she's Elven.
Yeah. She definitely is. That character was based off of her at this trial.
They probably did.
Her style.
This was subsequent.
Yes.
All right. So again, after you had moved out, and other than the text messages or emails that you've described for us, did you have any other contact with Casey, Anthony?
No, there's no other contact.
While she was living with you, did she ever tell you that her daughter had been kidnapped?
No.
That she was missing?
No.
That while you were at school, she was actively looking for her?
No.
That she was worried about her?
No.
She needed help?
No.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions of this witness.
Cross-examination?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I'm even setting an alarm to check my emails right now, y'all. Promise.
You want to check mine too? That shit goes up
Morning,
fast.
Mr. House.
Good morning.
I don't know.
You met Casey the end of May, early
Yes.
June?
Into May.
Okay. What date exactly?
May 21st, 22nd.
How do you know that was the date?
It was one of our friends' birthdays, and it was that time that we met.
that week. So the end of May.
End of May, yes, sir.
And you moved out July 1st?
July 1st, 2nd, one of those days.
So the complete extent that you know Casey Anthony is a month and a half?
Yes, sir.
You mean the time
Okay.
her daughter
And in
was
that
gone?
month and a half, you saw Kaylee how many times?
4 or 5 times
And where did you see her?
at the apartment.
Did she have a backpack with her or food or anything like
Yeah,
that?
she would come over with a backpack that had toys in it, flashcards,
Let me stop you there. Flashcards, what kind of flashcards?
flashcards that had shapes and colors on them that Casey would flash to show Kaylee, and she would say what it was.
And you would hear Kaylee
Yes.
describe what kind of colors they were? Is that a yes?
Yes.
You have to say yes for her.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And what other learning tools did you see Casey teach Kaylee?
Never saw any other learning tools, but she would grab Cam's drum set little thing, and she would always play on the drums. But other than that, no other learning tools. DVDs, she did have some DVDs that she always brought over.
So in this bag, obviously you would see diapers, things like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And other snacks in
Okay.
case Kaylee got hungry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever see Kaylee malnourished?
No, sir.
Did you ever see Kaylee neglected in any way?
No, sir.
Did you ever see Casey strike Kaylee at any time?
No.
Did you ever see Kaylee treat Kaylee as if she were a burden or negative?
No, not at all.
Okay. Would you say she was a good mother?
Yes, I would.
Sustain.
Yes, sir. Now,
Oh yeah, that was your
That,
opinion.
Question and response be stricken.
Strike it, but the jury still
Request
heard it.
granted. Please read 4.04.5, folks.
Rewind it just a
now,
Thank you. You
sir,
may proceed.
did you ever see Kaylee neglected in any way?
No, sir.
Did you ever see Casey strike Kaylee at any time?
No.
Did you ever see Kaylee treat Kaylee as if she were a burden or negative?
No, not at all.
Okay. Would you say she was a good mother?
Would.
Sustain.
Yes, sir. Now,
That's the question.
Request granted.
Huh.
Please read 4.04.5, folks.
now,
Thank
sir.
you. You may proceed.
Wow.
Thank you, sir. I apologize, Your Honor.
Hey, well, you didn't want his opinion on other things let in, but
Right.
now you want his opinion on that?
But he answered, unfortunately, too fast. But it does, I understand what Jose is doing here, right? You're showing the time that you did see Casey with Kaylee. She had flashcards. She was educating her. She was well fed. She was happy. She was never a burden to her. Guess what? All of those things can be true, and Casey is guilty. Like it's especially if you align with an accidental killing, like still killing,
Yeah.
but not intentional, and so it's just frustrating.
It makes me think, though, let's just to be fair to Casey, if we're talking comparisons with other cases, like we've done it a lot now with Leilani and Megan Boswell, very similar cases, no cause of death, long time before, well, one of them a long time before reported missing. They both had friends.
Baby, come back. You can put me on.
Okay, I'm back, right?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, God. So both Leilani and Megan, if we're being fair to Casey, had friends or family come forward and say that they were not taken care of or unloved and unwanted. And we're not seeing that with Casey.
No.
So that's kind of interesting. And that could be a factor in why things are a little different. Just being fair to the situation and why the juries would have not only the good attorney, which we've talked about a lot in his presentation, but probably some of that background too.
Right.
Did Adrian fall asleep on us? Oh, and look, Michelle, I had to save her comment. A couple of these comments. Look here. Michelle says Jose Baez has a sexy voice.
You knock your ass off, Michelle.
Michelle. And then Tess asked, have you ever tried the barbecue dots?
No, and I don't want to.
Are you like, I found something good and I'm not going to try anything else?
Yeah, and I wouldn't like barbecue dots.
Oh, okay.
Nor do I want to try any of the other flavors. I'm very content with this one.
See, I knew it. I knew you.
I'm very content with this one. Thank you.
I'm like, ooh, I liked one. I'm gonna try them all. You're like, I liked one. I'm eating this one that I like.
I'm just listen, I'm happy with what I got. I'm not pushing the bounds.
Oh, Natasha, I know, and that thought was important to me. I needed to get that out because it even made me mad to think it. But it is like trying to figure out why they turned out so very differently with like a lot of the same evidence.
I told you, Neat Noodle. Oh, I'm so sorry.
What did she get when her they're gone already? No, it's okay. I was talking to Natasha anyways, but yeah. Who's the sexy detective in Letitia's case, Bogart? Who's she talking about? What's his name? FBI agent
Gruesing. Daddy Gruesing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daddy Gruesing. That's FBI special agent detective
Travis.
John Gruesing.
Now, look, I don't know if I find him all that sexy, but he did a damn good job. I loved him.
Sexy. And he was calm, cool, and content. And I think he was literally ideal to go up against Letitia. Like, out of any like male, female energy, personality, he was freaking perfect. Perfection.
Yeah, he really was. Look at this. I'm on my second bag. Then we have, hold on, somebody else said, I'm going with the garlic. Like, you've got everything in those stuff.
I'm telling you, you're welcome to everyone. To everyone. And you could get the 16-ounce bag on Amazon for $5. If you bought, I feel like this is not a paid promotion, but like if you go into like a normal store, you get like the little tiny itty bitty snack bag for $5. Like you would be paying like $20 for the big bag. So Amazon's the way to go. $5.
$5. Me too, Natasha. Intelligently sexy, but it ends there for me as well. And then for Shiggles wants to know, when will you be doing the gruesing?
I've done gruesing twice, but we'll go around for the third time of gruesing once we get through the calls and doing the social media and text with Natasha, and I'm really excited for that. And then gruesing again. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Gruesing will be in. Well, okay, never mind. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just excited for her to join you. And yeah, I knew you had done him before, but I know there's a lot of people who are like newly in it.
I'll do gruesing more than once, no problem. I've done him twice. I'll do him 3 times. I don't care. I love it. But I learned something every time with gruesing in that interrogation. It is so masterful. Like it really is just such. It's so well done and you learn a lot.
Masterful is the perfect description of that. It really, really is. And for some reason, it doesn't matter. You can watch it over and over and it doesn't get old ever, even if you're not picking up something new. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know if it's because I'm like so far in with that case or if it's everybody, like it's just that well done that, I don't know. It's like Dexter. I could watch it over and over. The old Dexters or Desperate Housewives. That's another one I could watch over and over. They need to bring it back. Okay, here we go. We're almost done. Well, yeah, we're almost done for today.
The entire, now those times were times you had seen her. Did you ever see them go out to the pool?
No.
Okay, so you weren't there on June 2nd when Kaylee and...
Assuming facts not in evidence, the witness has answered he did not. Now counsel's testifying.
I'll rephrase it.
Rephrase the question.
Were you aware that Tony Lazzaro and Casey and Kaylee went to the pool on June 2nd.
Yes.
Okay. And who else was present?
Nobody. It was just
Okay.
them.
Okay. Now, you mentioned some things about the computer, that you had a computer.
Yes.
Okay. Casey had a computer.
Yes.
Everybody had a computer.
Yes.
Nobody designated you to monitor everybody's computer, did they?
No,
What
sir.
is that about?
So you weren't keeping any close eye on Casey's computer at any time?
No, sir.
There's something we've missed. They've cut court TV didn't include or something.
No, he's
And
building up, I think, to the
now you
searches
met
and
at the
stuff.
end of May,
Maybe, but
and you
why
moved
would
out
he
in
only
July.
ask this one person that was in the house about the computer and none of the other roommates?
Well, he did ask the other roommates about their computers and not using one another's computers.
Yeah, but not like, you know what I mean? This in depth. I don't know. It just felt different with this guy. And then plus, maybe I'm feeling that way paired with what we heard at the beginning or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe you're right and we're building up to the searches or something, but weird. And if
I
you're in
don't
the
know.
chat and you think that he like addressed this differently with him, because there are times in the footage from court TV, this old footage, where it seems like it picks up like we've missed a part. You know what I mean? Have you noticed that?
Well, where it clearly cuts out the sidebars and stuff like that, and so maybe something was discussed on the sidebar.
Yeah, something's and like during one of the witnesses that we started in the beginning of it, it was like it wasn't the. I don't know. There's something weird. If it
Well,
happens again, I'll point it out.
but you know what? I think it's a good learning curve, like we said earlier on in the stream, how the jurors do not get to see everything, and we're like, even like Koberger, who just had right a pretrial limine hearing motions hearing, I'm sorry. And you think about all of this is being argued of what's going to be allowed in, what's not going to be allowed in, and even the sidebars, the jury has to be excused. And so what the jury actually hears versus what we as the public know, and the same way you're guessing, hey, did something happen, what is this leading to, there very well could have been a sidebar and something was discussed. And in pretrial motions, we probably would know what it is. But as the juror, you only know what is presented on the stand through witness testimony. That is it.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy because we got to remember that all the time watching these trials, because even when it comes to what we learned before, they really aren't supposed to know like that much in depth about a case. Jen said half the chat talking about pretzels. That's why I love Allie and Melissa's chat.
Every time too. It's a consistent theme.
Well, damn it. I was going to try to just press play, but I have to tell y'all, I already told Melissa, but I got these pretzels. Let me find them at Walmart yesterday, and they are so good. Oh my God. Okay. They're the Pop Dots birthday cake flavored. And listen, Pop Daddy, I'm sorry, I said Pop Dots, Pop Daddy pretzels, birthday cake, and they're not like chocolate coated. This is like a powdery birthday cake seasoning, and they are so good. Okay.
I just think it's so fun. Me and Allie have completely opposite tastes. She is a sweet tooth. Like, of course, she would get a birthday cake pretzel. I'm suggesting just stick with the Dots garlic and Parmesan.
Do not even venture out and try anything else.
Do not venture out. Don't go. You ruined a pretzel now. Now you turned it into a birthday candle. Because they're the pretzel sticks too. They literally look like the candles.
Yes, they do.
They're probably
really good.
Yeah, they're
Google
probably
it.
I saw the photo. Yeah, it was really. You guys will probably the packaging itself is really pretty too.
Yeah, they're super yum. Let's see. Kristen says, I've never seen clear, solid, without a doubt evidence that she's responsible for everything. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure the jury got it right. I don't think the state proved anything. Interesting.
Well, I guess we'll have to, as we're going through, and that's why I'm so excited to get to the actual evidence. But either way, she covered up her death.
Yeah.
And let her body completely decompose, and that the defense isn't arguing that part. It's just about what happened. What do you believe happened to her?
Well, and I mean, okay, like I don't disagree, but I also don't agree because I haven't seen it all yet. But I think the state proved that she lied, and we're gonna see that they proved there was decomposition in the back of her car, because I saw an article from ABC News
Yes.
talking about the evidence that was shown. The hair, we
While we wait for Allie to come back, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here. Consider becoming a member if you guys aren't already. I can hear she's back. The last thing we heard was the hair.
and I was gonna say, not to take it back to Leilani, but think about Quentin, or when this happened. Like, okay, his poor little body went through so much before they even found him. They cannot determine what happened to him. Sometimes they just don't. They have to only have circumstantial, very, no solid without a doubt. That's just the way it is sometimes. But there's a lot of other cases where the jury finds them guilty on that evidence.
Right.
Yeah. Even, but we'll see. I'm curious to see what all they bring as far as the actual evidence.
Me too.
Lie. And you described that you worked at Fusions.
Yes.
And Tony was, I guess the two of you were promoters?
Yes.
And part of a promoter's job is to get people to come into the club.
Yes. That is the definition of a promoter.
Okay. For those of us that don't know the promoting world, do you get a percentage of the door?
Depends on what deal you have worked out with the club. It can range from anywhere from 100% of the door to half of the door to $2 a head for everybody that walks through.
What about drinks? Do you get any money off the alcohol?
No.
Okay. So it's just the door.
It's just the door. It's illegal to give money to a promoter off of the bar sales because it's their.
Thank you, Sin, for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much, and welcome to the people who got them.
Thanks, Sin.
Can use the spicy Amy emoji B Crumbs created and sent to me the other day. She's like, "Can we have this?" And it was really good. It's like a hot sauce with a girl on it with flames coming out of it. On camera.
And when we say the door, we're talking about what they charge you to get in.
Door entrance, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you, as a promoter, contact every single person you know to let them know that on Friday night or Saturday night or whatever night that you're promoting, your company is going to be promoting that club.
Yes.
And what you're selling is the atmosphere, right?
Yes.
And the atmosphere in this specific place, Fusion is a sushi bar.
Yes.
Okay, so after the sushi bar closes, it kind of turns into like a martini bar, so to speak.
Yes.
Now, you were at this time calling everyone you know, texting everyone you know, and posting on Facebook and MySpace to come to Fusions.
Yes, sir.
And so was Tony.
Yes, sir.
And because Tony was dating Casey did that too.
Yes, sir.
And everyone was you would encourage all your friends to tell your friends and tell their friends, right?
That's the idea, yes, sir.
Okay. And if you're a popular guy and you know a lot of people, you can do fairly well in this business.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And especially you guys being college students.
Yes.
Now, this business with the shot girls, that is a portion of your theme or ambiance, right?
Yes.
And Casey wasn't a shot girl, was she?
No, she wasn't.
In fact, what Casey volunteered to do was to help her boyfriend, I guess, coordinate or manage these shot girls. Is that a fair assessment? Or?
It's a fair assessment, but it wasn't really what she was doing. She wasn't managing anybody. That was down to me and Tony.
She took an interest in it.
She took an interest in it, but when it comes down to it, it was us.
And it was
Okay, he does not. Like, now it's without a doubt, he's not, like, on her side at all. And he's angry. He's
Right.
definitely a hater, like the chat said. I can feel it. Maybe for a good reason. I don't know. But
I don't see him as a hater. I just see him as let me tell it for what it is. And no matter how kind or nice you were, the truth is, no, you weren't doing shit. You were just helping your boyfriend. At the end of the day, it was us. I think he's just being honest.
Well, yeah, no, I don't mean like a literal hater, but that's just what someone in the chat said, like describing his attitude towards Casey. And I'm feeling like he does feel kind of angry. I wonder if there was some, I don't know. Do you think he seems angry or just flat out
Well,
honest
even
only?
if he was angry, Allie, I wouldn't blame him. You involved us and you brought
Yeah.
your little girl and you had us form a relationship with her. And now that little beautiful girl has been found decomposed. And that whole time, all of those times you were partying with us, and it's amazing how people can interpret or feel differently about the same situation, right? You could have Cameron, the first guy, who was more sympathetic. It seemed like he was
Mhm.
more, and then you have him and I'm sorry, what's his name? Tony House? What's his name?
Roy House.
Roy House. Um, and he, I would understand being angry, like, what the hell? You're telling me no matter what, your daughter was gone and you were around us? I would be disgusted too. Concussions.
I can't get over how much the clip sounded like that one part that you're the bah. But let me just say, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
If he was angry, I don't blame him either. But to me, he does feel kind of angry. But I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, because I'm with you. You involved us in all of this. God only knows what else happened that he's actually angry about involving this, like getting the shot girls, telling him what to wear, promoting. I don't know. There might be something else there that we don't fully know about too. You know
I
what I mean?
She just was overstepping as girlfriend. Oh, this was her boyfriend's job and she wanted to be not work. She just wanted to have her hands on everything, like, so I'm going to involve myself and I'm going to tell them, "Hey, you should do this," or to make yourself feel like you're part of something that you're not. You don't even go here.
Look at this. Natasha said, cue the thigh slaps and the lip smacks. That is freaking perfect because people are always bitching about me smacking my lips like them. Well, they used to. I don't really get them anymore. People just laugh about it. And then your thigh slaps
Yeah.
and the thigh
Eye
slaps
slaps
and
and
lip
lip smacks. We go together like lamb and tuna fish. Wait, do you know that
What?
movie? Ah, shit.
No.
Fuck. All right. I can't do movie references in front of Allie. You've never seen Big Daddy?
Yes, I love Big Daddy. I just didn't
Okay.
remember that, but
Rod
I do
Schneider's
love
character, they go together like lamb and tuna fish. What? Should I say spaghetti and meatball? Yeah, you should say spaghetti and meatball. Lamb and tuna fish don't go together.
I love his character in that and
Yeah.
50 First Dates.
Yes. Oh my God. I love all of them. They're all the same actors in all of them, and they're just
I
so
know.
good.
It's funny the way they do that. But yeah, and you guys, I am starring a bunch of your comments for us to read at the end. Look, Natasha said,
Mhm.
ask MJ. I do it too and just recently realized it,
Yep.
Allie.
Yep. It's true. True story. You don't realize some of the things you do until you hear yourself talking back, whether it's in an audio or on a live stream, and you're like, oh shit, like, I breathe heavy, or, I smack my lips or thigh slap, whatever it may
Mhm.
be.
Yeah, and then when people start picking it out about you, because I
Mhm.
can't stand hearing that smacking noise you're doing with your lips. Gidget, oh my God, the I wipe my own ass part, Melissa. Oh, it's so sad.
And that was twin boys. They both played that role.
Yeah, they were adorable in that. I ended up like watching them a little bit on that Disney show they did, The Sweet Life
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. Um, okay. Okay. Let me ask you though, because I think we're about to end in a second. Do you think that he's going to end with that same last question that
Yes.
he keeps asking?
Yes, 100%. Yes, I do.
I do too, and honestly, I don't think that's right. I'm really surprised, and I think if the prosecution would have had their mic on the first time and objected properly, that may not have happened.
But this is going to be like the fourth one. He does it too.
Hmm.
It was to help you in any way you can so you could be more successful.
Yes.
And this is while she was also staying with you, living rent free.
Yes.
And she was pulling her weight by doing this part of pulling her weight was doing this, helping you financially?
Yes.
Also cooking,
Yes, she would cook.
cleaning the house,
Yes.
Wow.
throwing out the trash?
No, that was us.
Okay.
That was the guys.
So you never threw, do you know if Casey ever threw out the trash or you just don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Whoa. That was the guy.
And
Bruh. Okay.
you mentioned even after you and Tony had a falling out, she wanted to put you
Is
two
that
back
guy
together.
sleeping?
Yes.
And you mentioned that Casey was a friendly girl.
Yes, she was.
She was nice.
Yes, she was.
She cared about people.
Yes, she did.
She cared about you. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And even though she barely knew you,
Yes.
and you saw her caring for her child,
Yes, I did.
Okay.
you have now found out that Kaylee was dead during that time period. Have you since found out, sir?
Sustained.
Have you since found out that Kaylee was dead during this time?
Yes, I have.
And you absolutely noticed no change in her behavior?
Not one change.
Let me
in her
finish the
behavior.
question, sir. You saw absolutely no change in her behavior from the moment, from the time period where she was a loving and caring mother up until the time that Kaylee was deceased and living with you?
Never saw one change in her.
I have no further questions.
Are you sure?
Oh.
Redirect, Mr. George.
No, sir, thank you.
May the witness be excused. Subject to recall, I guess.
Yes,
Now they may have had a sidebar about that. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back just before we discuss, like, because there's a few comments that are really good. I want to read
Yeah.
to you and stuff. But let's go back. A couple things. First, look at how we talked about how much that one guy aged. Not that this is important at all, just kind of funny. But look how much he looks exactly the same, besides a little
does.
facial hair.
Yeah.
10 years later. So this was about 5 years ago, or 7 years. This was put out in the end of 2018. But here's what he said. Let's not forget what he says here. He said, all of us thought she worked at Universal Studios. All of us thought she was going back to school. Everything that Casey Anthony had been saying to us was a complete lie. I don't think that there's anything that the world or the media got wrong about Casey. I do believe the justice system got it wrong.
There you go. There you go.
So, damn, Melissa. Next,
Mhm.
we get into, wow.
Yeah, tomorrow night we get Maria Kish, which is his girlfriend. And yep, look at her. I could see it, Allie. I could see she about to lay some shit out. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yes, I think so too. She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
Oh, I can't wait to hear her give it. I mean, I bet you Casey couldn't stand her. She seems like the type that would be threatened by like other nice looking women.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Jordan, thank you. Okay, let me read these to you and see what you think. Some were just straight up hilarious. Look at Nancy. She said, okay, Jose Valo Baez. And then now, Kristen, remember she had said she didn't see there was no evidence. Here she says that Leilani leaving and backing into the dumpster gives me proof. Megan backing into the shed, more proof. I just wish there was something like fingerprints, DNA, or something. And there's 2 quick follow-up. Jules says duct tape and car evidence in Casey's behavior. Jordan points out the shovel.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, that's why I said I'm excited to go back in because I don't remember all of the details, and I'm very excited to see what exactly was the actual hard evidence against her. But I do think that there is a decent amount of circumstantial evidence. I could understand not being able to prove what happened, but the same situation was there for Quentin, not being able to prove what happened. They actually didn't even put forward a theory of what happened to Quentin.
Yeah.
And so I think it all leads back to her no matter what, whether it was an accident or intentional. But I understand what you're saying, but I'm excited to go through it again because I don't recall everything off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think there was a lot of like circumstantial evidence with this one. I'm kind of mind blown because like the duct tape, I want to hear about the stickers, the car, what was in just so
The searches. How about the searches?
yeah. The like computer searches, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then for me personally, like Megan, her dad testified that he had seen her car at some point backed up at the shed. To me, that wasn't really like that didn't really mean too much to me, and it meant a lot to a lot of people, not just Kristen, because I saw other comments that people were like, wow, like that really pulled it all together. For me, like having grown up, I don't know, like with a lot of property and different outbuildings and stuff, we're always out at our buildings, whether you need something that's like changing seasons and you're going back to wintertime stuff, whatever, you're kind of always. So to me, that didn't mean too much. Yeah, he spotted her there. It's just his word. I don't know, so it's interesting how everybody's different. We all see things differently based on what we've been through. And I don't know.
Yep.
Same with the jury. And, just by the one interview that I saw, I got the feeling of like being a little naive, just in general. So imagine if you are, and like the lawyer pointed out in that CNN article, I'm going to drop it in the chat for you guys again. Casey was respectful, polite. She wasn't rude. She was dressed nice. You know what I mean? There wasn't any of these like Leilani, you're obviously on drugs, stuff like that. None of these big red flags. If you're naive, you may see that and take it as her being innocent, especially if you haven't been around manipulative liars and stuff.
Yep.
But I cannot wait to hear from Maria. So that's her name, right? What's her name?
Me too. Okay, so I think we have a detective up after Maria. What's the lineup look like?
Let's see. Hold on, I'll go back to it. I'm just doing it on my phone.
That's me standing in the mirror. Hi, Mallory.
Hey, Mallory. Trial. What did you say you searched? Trial.
Court TV, Casey Anthony trial. And it's a voiced one.
Got it. Okay. So we have Maria next, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Then Brian Berner. He looks
Detective.
he looks like he could be, yeah. Then we have some more people that look like her age, Jamie and Erica, Jamie Relander and Erica Gonzalez. Then Anthony.
Tony.
Yeah, and then George.
Ugh.
Oh, God. Then Ricardo.
It's going to be awkward.
Uh-huh. And then, let's see, witness testimony. Oh, then they bring Tony back.
Probably because there was something in Ricardo's that, wow, to bring him right back? That means something in Ricardo's testimony they want him to combat.
Yep. Then we have, looks like a couple other young people. Mallory Parker, she seems to be crying. Then number 14 is surveillance video exhibits. Then we have another group of kids, and then George Anthony, and then Tony again.
Oh.
Cindy again after that. Then Cindy part
Cindy
2.
for the first time. That's going to be the first time we see Cindy up on the stand.
Wait, that's right, because we've already seen George. I was thinking we had already seen Cindy. So, yeah, Cindy for the first time, and she's got 3 parts in a row.
Yes, okay.
That means she's like 3 hours of her testimony, I guess. Then we have Amy.
Amy.
Then Lee. Law enforcement, Detective Yuri, and just a bunch of law enforcement. Then jailhouse visits, jailhouse visit, jailhouse visit, jailhouse visit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row of that. More detectives, and then let's see, and then just there's so many more parts. We have a long way to go, you guys.
I ain't complaining. I've been really enjoying this.
Yeah, me neither. I'm glad because that there's so much, and I want to know it all.
Yeah.
Then okay, so after that, let's get to we have a couple people and then a deputy and Lee Anthony with the deputy in the same episode. Right after that, you can see the thumbnail is where she was found. So I think we're going to get into her being recovered.
Right.
So we have some investigators, a couple doctors, 1, 2, 3 doctors, 4 doctors, a CSI person. We're going to really get into that evidence. And then I believe after that, we'll see her reaction to Kaylee being found.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough testimony. It's not,
It's gonna be.
it ain't easy to hear some of that, but
No, it's gonna get really rough. But honestly, like, it's also very interesting because you become more educated as you go through and watch a full trial, and understand what's allowed and what's not allowed, like different judges allowing a little bit of room with different things. But I'm just ready to see the actual evidence against her.
yeah. It's a total, you guys, of 118 parts. And we're kind of, each part we're splitting. So it's going to be a lot of, which is fun. I'm glad. I'm so happy to do this with you. Thank you for doing it with me.
Oh, of course. I'm so excited. And so we're going to do Maria tomorrow night. It's scheduled. We'll be on at 8 Eastern. But just keep an eye on the playlist because they just go in order. If anyone's ever out of order, the playlists are on both of our channels, so it's easy to find.
Yeah, and then tonight, right now, Melissa's going to do some Letitia stuff. You guys were talking about Tisha, so we'll get to go right into that. Pretext calls still, right?
Yes, it's been a while. I haven't done Tisha in a couple of weeks. And so anytime I feel overwhelmed and stuff, I go back to Tisha, which is so crazy because she's the most chaotic. But I think it's the group of people. Going back to Tisha, it kind of just brings us all back in, and it's a great group of people, and it's, just calming even through the chaos.
It really is. I truly know what you mean by that. And it's perfect that you're doing that tonight because tomorrow, you guys, I'll be doing a Tisha Live as well right before we go over to Melissa's. And Letitia, oh God, you guys are not going to believe it. I feel like every time we talk about her, you're I think this, but she not only has filed for a protective order in her lawsuit, she sent me a message, and that was the first time she had for a very long time. And she's not happy with me or Lil Red. Apparently, she knows Lil Red got me the documents, and
someone's leaking to Tisha from here, to Tisha from here. Let that sink in. Who do you think it is? And I'm not saying accuse people in the chat versus I think it might be someone that we don't realize is feeding it right to Tisha.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. And I guess we'll, I'll show you guys tomorrow. So I still have the Getting Out app for other reasons. I have not heard anything from her for a long time. I had asked that Barbara lady for more details about what was going on in the jail, and that's been months and months and months. So imagine my surprise when I look at my phone and it's like, you have a new message from Letitia Stalk on the Getting Out app. The notification. I was like, oh God.
Nancy says she just keeps on.
Oh God, look at Amber.
Tell her to fuck off for me.
So anyways, I'm excited for that. And thank you guys for being here. And I'll let you go. Give Melissa a minute to breathe before you start your live. And thank you again. I love you so much. I love you, and I'm happy to do this with you. So thank you.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, I will see you in a little while.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. And you guys in the chat, I will see you tomorrow. I might see you over in Melissa's in just a little bit. And I just enjoy you guys being part of the conversation. It's really, don't know, I find it really fascinating. And then not only the subject matter, but also your thoughts and sharing them, and everybody's being different and not having to agree. And sometimes not agreeing, but sometimes changing our minds because, all of that. I love it. So thank you guys for being part of that. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a lovely Saturday night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you to the mods as well. Bye, guys.